Welcome back to Cryptid Combat, everybody. We are in the second match of the first round. In this episode, the Flatwoods Monster will be facing the Beast of Gévaudan.
Gévaudan.
There we go. Thank you very much. All right.
I got it. I got it on speed dial now.
I guess let's just go ahead and this is interesting. We'll see pretty soon some of the details, but these two cannot be more opposite. And I'm really excited to see how this pans out. Here's the bracket. As you can see, last time Sasquatch defeated our wild card, the Bunyip, 2-1, and is advancing in the bracket. So note here, the winner of this match will face Sasquatch in the next round.
That's a terrifying opponent. Absolutely terrifying for either one of these cryptids to go up against.
You got to be thinking like the pressure might be on there, and I think that really the winner of this, bout today could be decided by who is more focused on the match and not looking ahead. Because you focus on your opponent ahead of time, and you might overlook what your opponent this round can do.
Absolutely, it's hard not to do though. Looking at Sasquatch straight down the barrel,
However, I gotta say, Flatwoods Monster here looking pretty confident. I think I don't really know. It's kind of hard to read his facial expression. Flatwoods Monster was seen in like 1952 in Flatwoods, West Virginia, and it's like a metallic alien that was like 10 foot tall, and is kind of correlated to a lot of UFO sightings. And that's actually interesting because my original criteria here was no UFOs. However, Flatwoods Monster got in a technicality that it's not, it was seen separate from the UFO. And so even though these instances happened within like an hour of each other, there was no proof to say that it for sure was a UFO. So we allowed it in.
Yeah, I mean, going back to his facial expression there, some would say malice, some would say, maybe he's trying to strike fear into his opponent or something like that. I've hung out with the guy. I've had a couple of brewskis with the guy. We did share a plate of nachos last time we went to B-Dubs. This is his natural face, The only time I saw him break that face was one night we went to Dollar Margaritas at Applebee's, and that's the only time, and it was just to purge himself. That was it, Yeah. Now he doesn't vomit the way that you and I vomit, or the viewers at home would vomit. It's the only word I can think of is disturbing. But nothing against the guy. He is a great guy. Great. 10 foot. That's a massive range. Massive range. We'll have to see exactly.
Absolutely. The only thing off the top I have to say, though, just looking at him, is he's got kind of these like skinny, like spindly arms. Can't really tell how long they are. So that, he's almost like T-Rex in it here. But again, appearances aren't everything. We don't really know fully. What we can know is that we have our strengths and weaknesses here. And I want to actually clarify, this is one thing where we really don't know much about what he actually is. So our analysts have come up with these strengths and weaknesses, but I would say take them with a grain of salt because, like we note here, he has range attacks. We can assume he's durable. That one's safe. And then the fear factor here, I think that might be confused because I think that anytime, a mom and 2 kids goes into the woods after following a UFO and sees a 10-foot tall monster, they would be scared. So how can we really deduce whether that's because of its presence, it's like a factor it has, versus just
Absolutely.
being, scary?
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about the ranged attacks, the energy beams, the durability. The durability, that might come into question later on. We don't know exactly the alloy that this guy is rocking. He might be the A. Nasir of modern times. As if you don't know, that was a copper merchant. Yeah, for known throughout history for his lack of quality copper. So we will have to see. Overall, I mean, this guy, he is pretty stacked just from the ranged attacks. Overall, when we look at this beast later on, I mean, he has nothing as far as range goes. So we're gonna have to go over his weaknesses here too.
Okay. He has limited agility and limited. He doesn't, can't really do much melee wise. He has to rely on his range attacks, and he's made of metal, so he's probably pretty slow. Hypothetically, allegedly
speaking, but I mean, we're talking this. Like I said, the alloy that's going to make the difference, and I'm not sure if he's actually going to be able to change his alloy depending on the fight day. Apologies for the noise in the background. I think my wife just grabbed some of our chicken eggs, and now one of the dog has to announce it to the rest of the house. I'm still here commenting ringside, but I guess my dogs followed me here, so apologies.
Oh, I thought that was the Beast. I thought you had him caged back there.
I mean, it could very well be him as well. I'm sitting ringside once again with Mothman. Mothman, you want to say anything? Still declined to comment. I guess he likes to keep his cards close to his chest.
I think he's pretty shy. But someone who isn't quite as shy is the Beast of Gévaudan. Oh, yes. Thank you. He's a big wolf that killed like 116 people in France and was buried before they could actually figure out what species it was.
Unfortunate. Taken out before his prime, in my opinion.
And as you can see, that was enough to put him at the 8th seed. But I've got to say, like, if we look at like cryptids in history, I can't think of one that has a higher confirmed kill count, and also, by proxy, also is absolutely a real creature, whatever it was.
Absolutely,
it's for sure it was a real thing.
I mean, this could have been a myriad of different things. This could have been, your Uncle John that maybe just got into the absinthe a little bit too much. It could have been a big wolf. Could have been, a lion that escaped some sort of circus or something like that. However, all the accounts that I've read put it more in the dog category. So perchance this was even what we call, a werewolf or a lichen of sorts. So we're gonna have to see exactly what he is when he comes out into.
Yeah, that's what I would prefer. Like I like werewolves and wolfmen, and I think that's a cool concept. And that's why I'm kind of fond of the Dogman, even though I don't really know much about it, because I like the canine humanoids. However, just a random thought, I saw a clip from something. Apparently there's a movie that covers this. I don't know if it's this story or if it just covers other things in that time, but in that movie, the Beast is it's a lion with like armor, which is pretty cool. Like it has freaking metal armor on it. I mean, and that's why no one can identify it.
You got to give the French their due. They are very creative people, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the theory, was that like a lot of people think it was either a hyena or a lion because they thought that they maybe had them as pets, and the reason the king had it buried without showing it was because he was embarrassed because it was one of his things that got let loose and he didn't want to be at fault.
Oh, that is.
I think that's lame
understandable.
though. Yeah, I don't want to believe that though. I want to believe it's just some giant wolf monster because that's just way cooler.
That is an incredibly lame thing, and also you might be noticing that we're getting a little help pronouncing the name, the Beast of the
Gévaudan.
And it's not because we can't pronounce it. We both, courtside, we both said it to each other. I'm just coming clean. I apologize, but I'm just coming clean, letting people know the tale of the tape. However, we refuse to pronounce it based on principle, because it is, as you guys know, a French word.
Yeah. However, I remember Google claims it's Hindi.
Yeah, every time you put it into Google Translate, it automatically assumes it's Hindi, which is absolutely hilarious. However, it is indeed a French word because it is named after the region it came from.
Yeah. However, I if he was Hindi, I would support our Hindi king, but actually because he's French, it's like, bruh.
Yeah, he's already down a little bit.
And that actually ties right into strengths and weaknesses. So I was going to say the first big weakness is that he's French. Big debuff. Really sets him back. However, counterpoint, balancing that out, he actually, one of his strengths and positives is that he's killed over 100 French people,
Yeah,
meaning that it balances out to where we are now neutral and we can move on to the more what would you call it, actual practical strengths and weaknesses.
absolutely, absolutely. And I've always said it. There's no one better at destroying France than French people, and I guess this guy just kind of took that to heart.
For sure. Um, and he's going to be seeking to take the Flatwoods Monster's heart if it has one, and he's going to attempt to do that by using his high speed and agility and his attack, which, like most canines, is a lethal bite and a ferocious attitude. Somehow, our analysts have determined that he has a high level of endurance to sustain prolonged hunts. I don't know how accurate that is, but it sounds cool. However, he's a bit vulnerable in the open, and he's not as durable, especially compared to something that's made of literal metal like the Flatwoods Monster. That's a good analysis. Let's move on. This is where they are. West Virginia and a region of France.
Not what I was expecting for both of these combatants. As you can tell, we've traveled from the West Coast to the East Coast in the United States from the last bout. Maybe that'll have some sort of, a little bit of a debuff as opposed to being on the West Coast, big, strong, burly mountain man type, the kind of guy you just want to run your fingers through the chest hair, Sasquatch. Maybe this guy over here, he's a little bit more slender, kind of a more sleek individual. But then you look over at France, and wow, we're looking at almost the exact same parallel. This is going to be almost the exact same type of forest vegetation. And one thing I've kind of failed to point out so far is that this is a cryptid from Europe. I think it's only one on the bracket. Am I right?
I think you are correct. I think he is the sole representative of Europe.
What a way to showcase Europe. I mean, we always joke about in the United States, European cryptids are typically, gnomes that help you finish your shoes and stuff like that. And then the United States ones are the ones that are going to, take out your spleen and replace it with a hand grenade or something like that. But this guy kind of takes those stereotypes and flips them over on their head. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see this matchup.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point, and that's probably why the other European cryptids didn't get representation. Is they were just a bit more pacifistic, and so also some of them bordered too far. So if they border too far into mythology, which is a thin line to be fair, but we kind of disqualify them. So I had more than a few applied, like some fairies and stuff, and I was just like, "You're not real, bruh."
Absolutely. And I mean, what is even a group of fairies going to do to something, like the Wendigo, like Sasquatch, like even the Bunyip? Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, they're not going to do anything to it.
For sure.
There's a time and a place to be pacifistic. I totally understand that, but the ring is definitely not that place.
Absolutely, and that's why they're not here, and that's why these two combatants are. And so with that, we have all the data on the table. Who are you going with?
Oh, dude. Now, even though he's French, hang on, my cat's currently fighting me. Even though he's French, I really got to give it to the Beast. Let's be honest here, all right? First and foremost, I'm anti-horse, anti-dolphin, and most importantly, anti-French. That's something that we can all just get behind us right now. However, I am a very, very big lover. So, for me, the Flatwoods Monster, whether it's just some cryptid that was not associated with UFO at all, he picked the wrong place, wrong time, wrong uniform to show up. So he, to me, seems like an otherworldly creature. I'm really not about that life. I'm very much so in depth into the 40Ks. I really do not like aliens. at all. We have
Yep.
a birthright to take the stars, and if something like this is out there, I think it's even more of a God-given right to destroy that thing. Now, if it has to be a French wolf that has to do it, I guess that's what's going to happen. You know, God does not call the qualified; He qualifies the called. So, I guess we're going to see in the matchup. Another thing that I'd like to point out: I keep bringing up the alloy mech. I keep bringing it up because it's so important. If this is indeed a Lycan or of sorts that he's going up against, and he has any content of silver, I don't know if the refs are checking this or not. Side, however, if he has any content whatsoever of silver, he already has a massive advantage over this creature, which is going to be, we're going to have to just see him slug it out in the ring.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And I also have to say, though I'm supposed to be unbiased, I actually have to admit that I agree with your assessment. He is French, so it's like, nicest guy in prison, but like, it's better than foreign creatures entering our atmosphere. And so with that, I also just have to side with biological over abominations. And I have to assume that he's some sort of abomination that defies, the physical realm. And I don't really appreciate that much, so. But it's not up to us or who we like. These two have to duke it out in the ring. Remember, as always, there are 3 rounds. The first round will go to the Flatwoods Monster's home field. The second round will go to the Beast's home field. And the third round will be contested in a neutral arena where no terrain advantages can help them. And we're getting into the first round. Under a suffocating alien mist, the Flatwoods Monster looms like a nightmare made flesh. The Beast of... The Beast.
Gévaudan.
Thank you. Growls and charges, but every step slows as fear gnaws at its resolve. Energy beams slice through the darkness, so it can shoot energy beams, striking the beast again and again. In one final surge of unearthly power, the monster unleashes a blast that knocks the predator down, ending the round in devastating fashion. The first round... I forgot to get here. So I'm fresh. The first round went to the Flatwoods Monster. They are now in the beast's home field. In the dense forests of France, the beast moves like a phantom, vanishing between the trees. Flatwoods releases its toxic mist, but shifting winds scatter it. With primal speed, the beast lunges from the shadows, teeth sinking into alien flesh. So I guess it does have flesh under it. That's interesting.
Got some flesh.
The alien lashes out, but the feral predator tears into it relentlessly, dragging it to the ground with unstoppable savagery. That's where the explanation ends. But I guess he won. I guess he won. Yeah.
Like I said,
we're neutral.
He's keeping a lot of these fighters. They keep things close to the chest. I'm just surprised that there was flesh underneath all that metal. I'm happy for my boy, the Beast. Let's see how this final match plays out, this neutral ground.
Yeah, as you can see, we don't get the actually, our vision's blurry, but you have a high definition of, on the screen. You can see them fighting. Yeah, so you actually are seeing it better than us.
That's real. That is not AI. That is the 2 combatants going at it.
For sure. People really think it's AI because they just don't, understand. But in the final round, we're in the neutral arena in an empty clearing under a pale moon. The alien and the beast face off. The beast charges headlong, fearless to the end, but Flatwoods fires a volley of energy beams, striking with cold precision. Each blast drives the beast back until it can no longer rise. With one last devastating burst, Flatwoods silences its foe, leaving the battlefield eerily quiet. The Flatwoods Monster, winning round 3, claims the victory.
I just can't believe it, man. I just can't believe it. Hey, get that gore, get that gore off the screen, man. Oh my god, I can't believe this.
Disgusting. This is a big loss for the planet Earth. As you could see in the first round, in its home field, the Flatwoods Monster just knew how to. I mean, he knew exactly what to do. The Beast had a slight advantage in his home field, but the Flatwoods Monster just has so many weapons and high durability that it in a lot of the outcomes, he still couldn't clear the distance or do enough damage before he got killed. But he did end up edging out that round. And in the neutral arena, I think there was just nowhere for the beast to he didn't have the trees and anything to hide in. Those energy beams, you just got to think that's just something that a creature, a canine, is not, equipped with knowing how to tackle. And so with that, the Flatwoods Monster wins 65% of the total bouts too, in a pretty, almost, I would say, a fairly dominant victory.
I'd say that's almost one-sided. Yeah. I mean, if you guys were here last time, you would have seen Bigfoot didn't even have to win half of the bouts in order to take the belt home. However, this guy here, I mean, dominance, understatement for this critter right here. This was a bloodbath. I apologize for you guys having to see that. We'll have to talk to the refs because more than likely this is going to have to go all the way up to the FCC. This is going to be really, really, really bad for us. The ratings might tank after this, and more than likely Flatwoods Monster is going to have to pay a pretty big fine once he leaves that ring.
Crap, man! Dang it!
What?
Dang it, man!
What?
Crap!
What?
He won. I didn't want that guy to win, dude.
Oh.
Crap, dude.
Dude, I thought you had to hit record on Audacity or something, man. I was like, what the heck is going on here?
No, did you not just see what happened? This freaking alien piece of crap won. This is why you don't leave it to the French. However, what I will point out, we have to give him his props for winning or whatever. He beat a dog, whatever. But he will be going right into the next round against Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And so, it'll be a tough draw for him. But, I have to say with this fight, it's going to be a little closer than I would have expected, I have to imagine.
Absolutely. With how dominant, how oppressing he was on the Beast. I mean, we're looking at another matchup. However, the Beast, like I said in the previous fight, he only had one weapon. That was his mouth. You're looking at Bigfoot, he's got 5 in total: mouth, arms, and feet.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're gonna
That's why they call it the art of 5 limbs.
Yeah, the art of 5 limbs, And on top of that, we've got this alloy here. There's no alloy on the planet that's gonna stop Bigfoot. All right. So I'm really excited for the round 2 matchups. But what do we got? What do we got for next week?
Next time, we have a big matchup. We have the Mothman at 5th seed versus the Fresno Nightcrawler at the 12th seed, the lowest seeded, opponent. This should theoretically be the most one-sided bout. However, like I said, this is something that you can't never make bets here. Let's point out, the Fresno Nightcrawler is already finding ways to bend the rules. The image is moving. I don't even know how that's happening.
Now, I'm also going to say something real quick. Mothman did go off. He's currently taking a leak right now. But he did just shoot me a text. And he wanted me to say this before the picture came up. Sorry, Mothman. I did not see the text until it came up, so I apologize. However, he wants to get ahead of the steroid accusations. He really wants to get ahead of the steroid accusations. You're looking at that guy right there. He's just saying that that's a good pump with nice lighting. That's it. That's all he's saying. As good of a friend I am with Mothman, yeah, that is good lighting. I mean, look at that guy. Absolutely jacked. Look at those delts. Look at those pecs. He's going to give you the tightest hug. When it comes to this Fresno Nightcrawler, he ain't got nothing to hug you with, right? It'd be a little bit weird to get bare legs, in my humble opinion. All right. Not to crap on this guy too much, right? He is a major underdog, and like I said in the bracket explanation, this is the guy to bet on, Fresno Nightcrawler, in my opinion. I keep saying I'm tight with Mothman, and I do mean it. However, in the past 3 months, this guy has put on 50 pounds of muscle. All right. Whether that's juicing, whether he knows, maybe he's eating bugs more regularly, something like that, I'm not really too sure. So we're really going to have to see when this hits the mat.
For sure, and that's something to consider. Is he's been putting on a lot of weight. That might throw off his fight patterns, his normal attack strategies if he did it too quickly. Your body has to get used to the new changes in I still suspect he has a significant advantage. However, like I said, you never make money without taking risks. In the Fresno Nightcrawler, that's got to be the biggest underdog in the entire bracket. Also, I want to point out that it looks like, if you see very carefully in the back, I don't know, there's a second one over there.
There is indeed.
If he gets that guy, I don't know if he's helping or not, but Nightcrawler might be he might be playing the win, and he might be pulling every trick out of the book he can.
Yeah, even if he's got a tag team, I mean, Mothman, like he stated, he's put on a lot of weight. This might mess up his flight patterns quite a bit. He might not be able to get that aerial advantage that we've talked about so frequently. So during the time that he might be trying to take off, that other Nightcrawler, other one, and then it could be as good as wraps for Mr. Mothman. So it is going to be a closer match than a lot of people are giving it credit.
Listen, guys, I'm serious. There's totally a chance the Nightcrawler can win. Okay, we're not coping. Just watch it. Okay, it's probably going to be close.
It'll be really close, guys.
All right?
Really, really close.
It's going to be this is going to be way closer than the other matches. Like, it's very competitive.
And we might.
There's a winning chance that pair of pants that weighs 5 pounds can defeat the Mothman.
And I heard the refs talking actually about this next fight. There might not be a third round. There might be a fourth and fifth. Like, that's how serious this is getting.
It's gonna be 50-50 all 3 rounds, and they're gonna have to just keep going. Potentially, hypothetically. However, the only way for you to know is to watch the this next match that's gonna happen next week. So tune in.
Absolutely. I really look forward to seeing you guys there. Even if you have to pirate it, I know it's pay-per-view. I know we're charging $60 a video right now. But even if you've got to pirate it, this is one you do not want to miss.